Only on 27 News.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
I'm gonna make my approach in 0 inch. Brought the board and around 1 inch. Gonna find that king and find her out. Put my ball in the pocket and knock them all down. Gonna bring it up. Let's rock them up. Gonna bring it up. Let's bring them up. Get ready to bowl now. Strike out the day. Get ready to bowl. Strike out the day.
Gentlemen, we have come to Torrance, California, to the Gable House, returning here for the finals of the $200,000 AC Delco Classic. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel, and it really is my pleasure to welcome you to our 32nd consecutive year professional bowling telecasts. It's going to be a banner year, I know. For instance, more money for the players, $42,000 to the winner this afternoon. True Value's $100,000 bonus will be in effect as well for a perfect game. And later we're going to be telling you more about a format edition starting next week with the Phoenix Open. It's called the King of the Hill Challenge. More about that later, as I said. For right now, let's meet our 5 finalists. In our first match, in the number 5 position, a native of Oklahoma, Tony Westlake, colorful performer and very talented with 4 championships. His opponent is looking for that first win, but what talent. Billy Orlikowski, also a Michigan native. In the number 3 position, he is the reigning PBA Player of the Year, Dave Ferraro. In from Beaumont, 2-time Firestone champion, Mark Williams. And a native of the St. Louis area, but now bowling out of Fort Worth, Texas, is our tournament leader, Ron Williams. And speaking of St. Louis, my colleague now starting his 19th year, 17-time champion, Bo Burton. Welcome back.
Thank you, Chris, and I agree with you. 93 is going to be a great year for the PBA. One of the things to look for is a better scoring environment. The PBA lane maintenance personnel, I believe, have gotten their act together. They have made the lanes much more consistent, and that gives us the higher scoring environment both during the tournament and on the telecast. This also helps the number 1 tournament leader. Last year on low-scoring tournaments in 92, the tournament leader really struggled. This year, I believe the tournament leader is going to have a fair chance because he's going to bowl in a consistent condition. Now, as I watch the field this week here in Torrance, California at the AC Delco Classic, all the stars are back from 90, 91, 92, and there's a sprinkling of new young faces that really look sharp, and I think they can win some tournaments here in 93. Now, the purse is excellent here for the AC Delco Classic. As you see, spots 5 through 2 up to $22,000 for second place, and the first place of $42,000 is sensational. Chris, they're ready to roll the first shot of 1993.
That's right, on the championship pair of lanes 13 and 14. And this is the same pair that Pete McCordick a few years ago bowled a perfect 300 game for $100,000. And here's Tony Westlake, 4th in last year's Firestone. First shot, left lane. And leaving a confusing 4-pin as Tony gives it the long look, Bo, here at Gable House in Torrance.
Well, this championships pair scored very well during the evening last night, Chris. I watched a 300 game on this pair, a couple of 279s in this pair, and as they bowl, the lanes get better. So the first match should maybe be the lowest scoring and then improve right on through.
So it's a mark for Tony Westlake, Edmond, and Oklahoma City. And here is a good look at a 5'11" non-winner. He'll be 26 years old tomorrow. Best last year was 14th at Seattle, Billy Orlikowski. Also a 4-pin, though, but doesn't he look good? His style, his form.
Excellent style, Chris. Just a classic style. He's nice and low to the foul line. Look at this setup. 5-step delivery, push away on the 4th step. A little bit above his shoulder, good position. Look at that hand and right underneath the ball. Then he drives down through the pivot area. Good pivot step. Solid at the line. Unfortunately, just leaves the 4-pin.
His name is Billy Orlikowski. Marne, Michigan, suburb of Grand Rapids. 5th year member of the PBA.
Billy's playing pretty much of a standard line. He's going to start on the left side, and he's going to go right to the center, and then his shot will be a little bit around the second arrow. So he'll be here, here, and just out and around.
Didn't like the way he finished at the line, and of course he doesn't like the result, Nelson.
Chris, the championship pair in all the lanes here at Gable House, when the oil carries down, in other words, the oil from the front of the lane carries down towards the back end, they get easier. And right now, they haven't been bowling that long on the championship pair. They warmed up for about an hour, and it takes about another 15 or 20 minutes, then the lanes will be set up just right.
Beautiful shot. Comes from a family of bowlers, Billy Orlikowski. 3 sisters and a dad all bowl. Now Westlake. So there it is, Bo. Our first strike of 1993 on the Professional Bowlers Tour. It's Tony Westlake impressively gets them all.
Chris, a nice style for Westlake. He's 5 feet 6 inches tall and just a nice solid style. Look at arm in a perfect perpendicular position. He drives through the foul line, and see the loft over the foul line. A little stiff-legged, but the loft over the foul line. And that's a good way to control the lanes when they're hooking a little too much. The loft delays the hook.
All right, a big double for one of the 6 300 perfect games bowled here this week, where it took an average of 224 to make match play. And of course, what you'll see here today are the 5 best of the 24 that competed in that tough format.
Solid 8. Boy, his best shot so far. He left the 4-pin in the first frame. He comes back with a solid 8. They say this is the only true tap in bowling. Look at ideal style. Swing inside out. Good follow through. Apparently a strike, but not to be. The 5 is chopped straight off the 8. Actually, what happens, the head pin lines the 2-pin up. The 2-pin hits the 5 and drives it straight back.
Another spare for Billy Orlikowski. Recently he's been called the greatest bowler never seen on the air. Well, here's his reaction.
Well, I was kind of flattered by the article that he wrote, and kind of made me proud that Mr. Jowdy wrote an article like that about me, and made me set my goals a little higher, and worked really hard over the fall and over the winter so that I could make my first TV show.
Sharp-looking player, huh, Chris?
Mm-hmm. There it is. That is the baby he wanted. That takes up some of the tension, the pressure. As we're in Torrance, California, where Torrance High School has gained national attention as the exterior shot for the television series Beverly Hills 90210.
She's an 83 with over 140,000 on-road and off-road miles. I must be in and out of it 150 times a day. It's a wonder the doors don't fall off. Only trouble was when the pig charged and caved in my door. I only use AC Delco. Cheaper parts can cost you a powerful lot. Horse, so can pigs.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
A 40-year-old woman who loves a kid cereal. Just doesn't add up.
Brave adults challenge the notion that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are just for kids.
I face 5 alarmers, and I can't face my 5-year-old at breakfast.
Proving again that even the most courageous can't resist that sweet crunch in cold milk.
I love them, but I can't tell you why.
The secret's out. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
The interior of the Gable House in Torrance, California, owned by Jack Cogan, managed by his son Mickey. Jack also has another son, Kevin Cogan, the IndyCar racer. He's not here today. He's in Phoenix with his wife, Tracy. All right, there is a triple now for Tony Westlake, who envisions a bright future after his tour days are over.
Well, Bo, I'll be 34 next month, and I don't feel like I did when I was 24. And I've always wanted to be in the wholesale bowling supply business, so we started last January in that business, and we just finished our first year, and it was an exciting year for us.
And today, that's the kind of excitement Tony wants. Four-bagger, increasing his lead here in our very first match, lead of 35 pins, and his opponent, Billy, is back up.
Orlikowski at 5 feet 11 inches tall just takes about 16 feet of the 17 feet of approach. Nice, solid, smooth delivery, going for a double.
Crossing over.
As smooth as he looks, Chris, he still has to be a little bit nervous. That first time out there is very, very difficult. He's spraying the ball a little bit.
You remember your first on TV?
Oh, yes, Chris. As you see his ball delivering, going a little bit high on the right-hand lane, he breaks down the 310 split. If I recall, Chris, I bowled Billy Allen, the late Billy Allen, and bowled 160.
All right. But there's consistency here as we look at his fiancée, Lisa Stanfield. Their wedding date is set for October 9.
She said she's very excited, and I don't blame her. Now for Orlikowski, he has 75 through the fourth frame, 5 clean frames. He trails by 35 pins. Needs to get some strikes together to put the pressure on the experienced Tony Westlake, who has spare in 4 in a row. 6th frame.
All right. That was on the left lane of this championship pair at Gable House. As Tony Westlake, compact at 5'6", 175 pounds, and look at his grip.
He uses like a stretch semi-fingertip grip or a short semi, where he's just into the first knuckle, gets a good solid lift over the foul line. And he's wired.
Count him. 5 in a row. Here's a man that was 4th at last year's Firestone. And in 1988 and 90, he was second. Second behind two what could be future opponents here today, Mark Williams and Dave Ferraro.
See how Westlake, with a very standard approach, is playing the lanes. A little bit left to center. He'll slide in this area, be right around the second arrow. Just a very standard shot.
That's out the 8.
A little quick with the feet, wide of his target. Has the 2-8 double wood spare standing for a moment, and he's very happy, as you said, Chris, when the 8-pin falls out. It makes it a lot easier.
All right. So the winner of this match, our very first here at the AC Delco Classic, will be the PBA Player of the Year, Dave Ferraro. That's coming up a little bit later. More of this match will be coming up as we're speaking to you from Torrance, California, by the sea. We'll be back.
Ninjas do 2 things very well. They react, and they attack. Nothing blows them away like a ninja. The AMF Ninja, available today.
Hey, Ace is a place in Oregon, Illinois, and here's why. You get more bang for your buck.
Like a Jameson smoke alarm for just $4.77, and this 5-shelf storage unit with bonus shelf, now only $12.99.
Hey, Ace is America's place for better values.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
An unprecedented field of Olympic medalists compete as pros in pairs and ice dancing. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenge of Champions next on ABC.
From the finals of the AC Delco Classic, Billy Orlikowski, looking for his first PBA victory, is trailing by 44. He can cut it to 34. Strike up, shooting in the 7th frame, first game. Just didn't come up.
Well, Chris, he made a mistake that a lot of rookies on television make, and this is being his rookie show or first show. In the previous frame, he went wide, and remember, he left the 2-8, as you see his ball sliding here. And when he made the adjustment for it, he moved farther left on the approach. He caught the oil that's in the center of the lane. The ball just slid by the head pin. So he really made the worst move you can make is adjust off a bad shot.
All right, we have a guest on the lanes reporter today, 4-time champion from California. Here's our friend Mark Baker. Mark?
Here we are, Dave. We're watching the first match together, and you don't seem to care who you bowl. How loose are you?
Well, Mark, I shot 300 position round game, and I'm on an up note. I'm definitely confident. I like to bowl Tony because I'm sure he wants revenge for the 1990 Firestone.
Good luck today.
All right. Billy Orlikowski. 8th frame, and it's only his 3rd strike, where his opponent, Tony Westlake, has had more, and thus the lead of 44 pins. Spare up, 8th frame, Westlake.
See, when a player gets a ball too wide on this championship pair, it'll go high. There's a nice blend of oil right around the 2nd arrow. If you get out around the 1st arrow, the ball jumps high. Here you go. Look at the trajectory of Tony Westlake. His ball gets out to about the 7th board from the right-hand channel, then hooks very sharply high. If it had only gone out to about the 9th board, it would have held right in the pocket.
You know, next Saturday on ABC Sports, we roll into Arizona for the 2nd stop on the 1993 tour. 2-time player of the year, Amleta Monticelli, leads a world-class field of Fairlane Squaw Peak lanes for the $130,000 Phoenix Open. That's next Saturday, 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central, and of course on ABC Sports.
Westlake has to continue to fill the frames in the 9th and 10th frames to shut out Billy Orlikowski. And that opens the door, Chris. Orlikowski quickly looks to the sideboard. Right now, Tony Westlake, with that open, I figure he's going to make the 4 and 7. Will be going at a 2:24 pace. Orlikowski has a chance for 2:25. What he has to do is just get the ball over in this area. He's not going to try to slide anything over into the 6, but he's just going to take out the 2 pins for the count and stay in the match.
Does that with precision, doesn't he? Tony Westlake shaking that head, and Orlikowski is back up.
And back in the match. He has not struck on this right-hand lane in the match. He missed in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th frames. He absolutely mandatory that he strike here, and he can still win the match.
Look at that. So refreshing to see a young professional accept the challenge.
Boy, he did. That was his finest shot of the match. Tony Westlake squirming in the seat when that ball was released, and all of a sudden, as they say in Pro Bowlers Tour, the game is on. Westlake, 2:24 pace. Orlikowski can finish with 2:25, but he must keep striking. 10th frame.
Loser of this game will leave with a check of $8,000. The winner can maybe get 42.
Well, not to be. Let up on his speed a little bit on that shot. He took the pressure off of Westlake. Orlikowski, a solid first game. He's going to bowl a 2:04 if he spares and strikes. However, Tony Westlake, match well in hand, will be going against the Player of the Year, Dave Ferraro.
And Dave, a former roommate And Firestone has been Tony's nemesis. But Tony has defeated Ferraro, so if Tony gets there, it'll be a great head-to-head affair.
Yeah, two of the best. Westlake winning this first match. He'll be loose, confident. Nobody's more loose and more confident in bowling any better than the next man coming on, Ferraro.
And Billy Orlikowski, appreciated by the capacity crowd here, and we hope you enjoyed watching him as he shot a 203. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Bigger, bolder, and better than ever. ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Hey, Pat! Willard, what are you doing here?
Shopping.
Yeah, me too. Can't resist True Value's great prices, huh?
Well, you know, it's a personal service I like. You just can't get that at those big chain stores.
Yeah, and with 7,000 stores buying together, they sure have some great prices.
You already said that.
Yeah, but it's true, Pat. These are great prices.
With great service.
And great people.
Like a family.
Does this mean we're brothers?
Well, let's say cousins.
Cousins?
Twice removed.
There are gut balls and gutter balls. And sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all on ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history. Narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. This collector's home video can be yours to enjoy for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Cheryl Ladd, Jameson Parker. She tried for perfection.
I want you all to meet my wonderful family.
It wasn't enough.
Wish my wife was dead.
Dead before dawn, Sunday.
The following is for veterans, their spouses, and widows aged 50 to 75.
Lottery tickets. We never missed a week. My husband and I knew the odds were ridiculous, but it's only a couple of bucks, and it was fun. Then Ron died 6 months ago, and I found out we didn't have enough life insurance. I owed almost $6,000. Turns out we could have easily afforded extra life insurance for the price of a couple of these.
Veterans Life Insurance Company announces term life insurance for as little as $1 a week, just for veterans, their spouses, and widows aged 50 to 75. Call this toll-free number for free information. There's no medical exam, no waiting period, and your benefits never go down.
I have my own policy now from Veterans Life, so someday my kids won't have to go through what I just did.
Call 1-800-358-2800 now for free information about $1-a-week insurance from Veterans Life Insurance Company. Operators are standing by.
Carl Ravitch has the scores and more on 27 News. The Professional Bowlers Tour, brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco is like buying time. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. And by True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
In the AC Delco Classic, the result of our first match, Tony Westlake defeated Billy Orlikowski 2-12, 2-03, $8,000 for Billy. Now, Dave Ferraro, former roommate of Tony Westlake, they go head-to-head here. And the reigning PBA Player of the Year, who found that out late in December. On the right, black shirt, Dave Ferraro, Kingston, New York, 8-time champion, Firestone winner in 1990, defeating Westlake.
Chris, 5 minutes before we went on the air, Dave Ferraro expressed some concern about the left-hand lane, and nobody else of the other 4 players that I queried had anything to say about it. So Dave could be a little confused here on 13.
Yes, does. Cover 3-6-10. Forrest Bear. Westlake with the 2-12, 2-03 victory over Billy Orlikowski in the right lane. First shot. Second game. high hit. 3-6-9-10, Bo.
Well, he didn't exactly finish the first game in classic style as he opened in the 9th and 10th frames with big splits. He was going at a 239 pace through 8 frames and ended up with a 212. So here's 3 shots in a row that have not found the 1-3 pocket. And that key back pin, the 9 pin, makes this 3-6-9-10 combination the toughie. And slides by the 3.
Reps break in concentration. That's 5 in a row.
A little bit, Chris, and plus when your opponent becomes Dave Ferraro, as you see the ball sliding by the 3 pin, no matter how you try to block it out, you're still going against the hottest and probably the best bowler in the world today. It makes that span a little bit shorter in the holes.
Great recovery. Beautiful shot. Powerful strike. Tony Westlake. Now Dave Ferraro. 33-year-old champion from Kingston, New York. And his fellow PBA members voted him the player of the year, leading in tour categories, championship round appearances, 9, match play, cashes. He was great.
And here's the style that's made him so great. Look at the lowest backswing, I would say, of any player on the tour this year. And he's probably the most accurate with that. But I love that upright style, Chris, a lot like the great Ned Day, who never bent his knee much and had the tremendous loft over the foul line. That delays the hook and power, and that's Ferraro's secret.
And now he's left the 2-4 on that bow, left lane.
Right, and that's not the reaction he wanted. 3-6-10 in the first frame. What he would do with his feet is move his feet a couple boards left on the approach. When you miss left, move left. He makes that move and the ball slides too much. He's a little bit confused.
You hear pinfall, that is Mark Williams, another Firestone champion that's warming up because he will go against the winner of this, our second game. Westlake now, strike up. Comes within 1 pin of the leader, Dave Ferraro. Coming up next on ABC Sports, Olympic medalist Kitty and Peter Carruthers join the world's top skaters on the ice for a dramatic pairs and dance competition. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenge of Champions next on ABC Sports. Be good to hear our colleague Peggy Fleming again and Julie Moran.
One of the beautiful ladies of all sport. Now Ferraro, who is leading by 1, can go behind if Westlake strikes, and he does.
Okay, we're in our second match. This is a tension-packed second match. Westlake Ferraro. We'll be back.
Hot coffee and steak in front of strangers at 30,000 feet? Not till I switched. Now I fix it and forget it.
That's good. When people are watching you this closely, you just can't be worried about your dentures. That's why I Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Fix-A-Dent holds stronger than any other adhesive. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
Taste it, Grandpa.
He never would have tried this with his old adhesive.
For the strongest hold you can get, Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
How's it going this trip, George?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty is a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
Bowling's best are ready to strike. They storm into the Arizona desert to battle at the Phoenix Open next Saturday on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
That's next week in the Valley of the Sun. Look forward to that in Phoenix. We're in Torrance, California today. Spare up. Dave Ferraro with a strike in the 4th frame. Now let's go to our laneside reporter, Mark Baker.
Mark, you threw 1 ball for 42 games all week. Doesn't happen anymore much on tour. Have you ever done that before?
2 other occasions I've used the same ball for every game of a tournament. I've won the tournament. If a ball works good, I like to make the adjustments myself, go with the same ball. Hopefully it'll work again today.
Hope you go 3 for 3.
Ferraro trying to double now.
Powerful ball. Wow.
Well, Ferraro just punishes the pins in the 4th and 5th frames there to retake the lead, and he's got it all going for him. He's loose, but as you said, Chris, in the commercial, this match has lived up to its billing. Now, Westlake can retake the lead with an additional strike.
Look at that. Tony Westlake on TV did defeat Dave Ferraro once in winning the El Paso Open in 1989. Former roommates.
We're seeing all the shots carry. We've seen Ferraro with 2 wall shots where the head pin comes off the sideboard and takes out the 2, 4, 5. Westlake in the last frame tripped the 4, 2 pin off the sideboard, took the 4 out. Look at this.
Wow.
Okay. Nice little wry smile from Tony Westlake. Not so from Dave Ferraro, though. But remember, Dave's got double up. An 8.
Well, Ferraro, obviously, because he went high a few frames, has moved to the left on the approach, and he's just not attacking the pin. See, the head pin goes to the sideboard, but he doesn't quite get enough of the head pin to take out the 8, where Westlake seems to have made the adjustments halfway through the second game, and he has Ferraro on the ropes.
Being named the 1992 Player of the Year has been personally rewarding for this man, Dave Ferraro.
Well, it's by far the biggest award and honor that you can achieve in our sport. It's been a goal of mine, you know, since I was a little kid, and I really never thought I'd obtain it, but last year everything clicked and had a few things go my way, and here I am, Player of the Year.
And needed that to maybe repeat, because he's going against a man who has strung 5 as he did in his first match victory, Tony Westlake. 20 pins separating these 2 pros. Westlake in the lead. We'll be back.
A 40-year-old woman who loves a kid cereal. Just doesn't add up.
Brave adults challenge the notion that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are just for kids.
I face 5 alarmers, and I can't face my 5-year-old at breakfast.
Proving again that even the most courageous can't resist that sweet crunch in cold milk.
I love them, but I can't tell you why.
The secret's out. Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
In my business, my hair has to look great. And even one flake is one too many. So I use New Head & Shoulders. It gets to 10 times more the places where dandruff starts. New Head & Shoulders. Because great hair can't have flakes.
Why do I choose Alka-Seltzer Plus over the leading cold pill?
They only relieve congestion, but Alka-Seltzer Plus is so tough it relieves sore throats, sneezing, headaches, even body aches.
That's why I choose Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Alka-Seltzer Plus. It's tough medicine.
92's big winners shoot it out in the first showdown of the year. It's the final round of the Infinity Tournament of Champions, Sunday on ABC Sports.
Today, the best in bowling. You're looking at Tony Westlake, 5 in a row. And the bucket.
Well, Westlake's pretty easy to read, as our statistician Butch Soper has told us. He went 5 strikes in a row the first game, missed the pocket 5 times in a row, then threw 5 more strikes, and here he comes off and misses the pocket. He has to get the ball between the 2 and 5s. The key is the 8 pin, taking out the 8.
Oh, no.
Chris, when we talked about a more even condition and a little higher scoring condition, that usually means that the PBA lane maintenance crew is going to put a little more oil or lubricity in the center of the lane. That means that spares as you cross the lane are being tougher to get across. That happened to Westlake that time. He got trapped in the middle of the lane, and the match is now up for grabs. Let's see how he recovers from that open frame in the 7th.
Beautifully loving that left lane, Tony Westlake. And now, Dave Ferraro can take an 8-pin lead if he strikes here.
Dave Ferraro, you see the dots out there. He's looking out past the dots. Those are only 7 feet out over the lane. What a terrific break, Chris. That head pin went to the left sideboard, back to the right sideboard. A little wry smile from Dave Ferraro as he kind of threw a sour apple down there. Watch the action of the head pin. That'll tell the story. See it go to the left side of the head pin. The ball deflected, went around the 5. Here comes the head pin back around, makes out the 5, almost gets a strikeout.
Ooh, and just does mark with a spare. The reigning PBA Player of the Year. So surprised by his beautiful wife, Gloria, around December 20th when she threw a surprise Player of the Year party for David. Had no idea it was going to happen at the country club back in Kingston. And he said the 4 chefs did a great job.
Well, he could help pay for that party right now because it's getting down to key shot time. 9th frame.
From a bowling family, a family that's been involved with harness racing, just a delightful young man.
Both these players control the pocket or the lane in the same manner. Ball speed, loft, and change of angle. Ferraro threw a courageous shot there in the 9th. Soft speed and just stroked it. Here's Westlake with the same type of shot. A little too soft. Look at this. Oh!
Those pins have strings on them, Bo. What's going on here?
This shot here can be the most consequential shot in the match because without this strike,
oh my goodness,
Tony Westlake, as you see the 6 fall forward into the 3, would have been out to be hung out to dry by Ferraro in the 10th frame. Right now, Westlake, if he takes advantage of that strike, can shut out Ferraro. He must strike on this ball. Strike in 9. Ferraro looking to the side to the scoreboard. Hey, partner, a sedated applause from the crowd. They can't believe that their boy Ferraro is going to get whipped here. But if Tony Westlake gets 9 on this first ball, he wins the match and will go against Mark Williams. 8 spare, and we have a possibility of a tie.
Well, he made sure. 212 to 203 victory in his first game against Billy Orlikowski, and the former roommates touch hands there, both shaking their heads, scratching their heads.
One smiling, though, Chris. Can you guess which one it is?
That.
Ferraro is a very personable guy, but he just had about 20, 30, maybe $40,000 snatched from him there in the 9th frame. But anything can happen. Match game bowling.
Yeah, because now he leaves with $10,000 instead of a possibility of 42. Nine championship round appearances last year, 2 big victories. Player of the Year, $141,820. That's what he earned on the lanes. And Westlake now has a chance with 2 more matches, if he gets by Mark Williams another, for big money to start to a great year. 241 for Westlake.
Remember that 9th frame here, that 3-6 that fell for Tony Westlake. That could be the shot that possibly gets him to the title. What a great break, and he took advantage of it.
$241 to $228. Ah, yes, and now a new type of Choice Hotels International bowling tip of the week. Today, examining power and speed. Brought to you by Choice Hotels International. Here it is.
ABC Sports presents a winning never gets old bowling tip, sponsored by Choice Hotels International. Here's bowling great Dick Weather.
Joining me today is Don Johnson, the holder of 26 PBA titles. Don, as we get older, we tend to lose physical strength, flexibility, and usually some power and speed. but you have a way for senior bowlers to regain some of that former power and speed.
Well, what I teach, Dick, is really simple. I teach getting the ball in the swing much sooner than most people do. For example, on a 5-step approach, I teach getting the ball in motion on the first step so it can start down on that second step. This allows the ball to get further back into the swing. As we can see in this picture, watch on the first step, the ball is moving, and it's starting down on 2. This allows it to get back on 3, which gives me a higher backswing, which allows the ball to go faster. We need ball speed on today's lane conditions, so therefore this knocks more pins down. And I really believe if you seniors try this, it'll really, really help you.
So don't let your age be an obstacle to your continued enjoyment of the sport of bowling. Just consider implementing Don's advice. After all, winning never gets old.
Look for more ABC Sports Winning Never Gets Old bowling tips. Sponsored by Choice Hotels International.
Hey, up in Watertown, Wisconsin, here's what makes Ace the place.
Our better ideas. Plus Ace 13-gallon trash bags, a bonus 3-pack, only $4.97. And Ace 48-inch 40-watt fluorescent lights, just 79 cents each.
Hey, Ace is America's place for better ideas.
Guess what motor oil gives you unbeatable wear protection? Give them a clue, Bert. Quaker State. What motor oil is unsurpassed in preventing sludge buildup? Quaker State. Now, guess what motor oil Bert uses? Quaker State
is one tough motor oil.
Good guess.
There are gut balls and gutter bowls. And sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all on ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history. Narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. This collector's home video can be yours to enjoy for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
You know, I'm always teaching bowlers how to put fingers into the shot, not just the ball. But you can also use your fingers to save money. If you're 50 or over, just call 1-800-4CHOICE, and you can save 30% at Choice Hotels like Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep. 30%. Now that's what I call aiming for the pocket.
Travelers 50 and over save 30% at any of the 7 brands in the Choice Hotels family.
Yes, here in Torrance, California, the trend continues. Always exciting AC Delco Classic. Our first match, Westlake, Tony Westlake, defeating Billy Orlikowski 212 to 203. In steps the player of the year against the first game winner. And with 10 strikes, Westlake prevails. 7 strikes for Dave Ferraro. So Westlake now goes up against another Firestone champion. In fact, a 2-time Firestone champion, Mark Williams of Beaumont, Texas. How did they finish 6 through 24, my friend?
Well, the numbers this week, Chris, 160-man field. Pretty good scores. Look at the average game, 216, almost 225 to make the top 24. There's some of the other players that were in contention all the way through till Friday night. Billy Young looked sharp yesterday, just missed the top 5. Deadeye, Walter Ray. Justin Romek, one of the good college players. Big Bill Swanson, remember that name. Almost broke the PBA record as he averaged 266 on Wednesday. Veteran Ernie Schlegel, Tom Kreitz, top 24. 25th, your favorite guy, Mike Edwards, just missed by 5 pins, Chris Schenkel.
All right, and Mark Williams' brother, Derek, was in that money category, and Mark now is going to bowl in a moment. All right, next week, the Phoenix Open. Remember to join us at 3 Eastern. And 2 weeks from today, back to Las Vegas, Nevada, the $175,000 Showboat Invitational. As the 1993 tour is underway with this event, the AC Delco Classic. There's Mark Williams, and now Westlake shooting first in the semifinal game, the winner to meet Ron Williams for $42,000. All right.
Well, Westlake looks obviously sharp here in the semifinal game. He has his confidence up. He's made the adjustments on the lanes, but he's going against a man who does not know how to get beaten. This Mark Williams is tough.
There's a man with 6 titles, 2 of them the Firestone Tournament champions. In '88, when he won, he defeated Tony Westlake.
Look at his positions, Chris. Way left on the other side of the lane. The first big hook ball player we've seen so far today. Here's what he has to guard against, his arm swing. He must get it back inside there. Look at that, right next to that left leg. Almost hits it to be consistent. And he said it with his interview with Mark Baker during the last game. Hand action is his forte. He has great hand action.
Good size at 6'1", 200 pounds. Only 34 years old. Now back to Westlake, who has won in Portland, Oregon. He's won in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, in El Paso. And Green Bay, his 4 championships.
Well, he's kind of wiggled away the first 2 players. He was very aggressive in the first match against the inexperienced Orlikowski. Got a great break against Ferraro. The first frame against Mark Williams. He trips the 4. Here he leaves the 4-7.
Next week, as we indicated, Phoenix, then Las Vegas, and then Grand Prairie.
Down to Texas.
And then where?
To the Midwest. We go the True Value in Peoria, then a new stop, the Budweiser Tournament in St. Louis, Missouri.
You'll have to travel so far, won't you?
You bet. All right, Westlake, let's see if he goes a little more speed, a little more loft.
Reality. That's in.
And big trouble. Unmakeable split, though. What he has to do is get the ball over to the right of the 3-6 pins. As you see him cut right through the middle. An unusual split. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Get the ball to the right of the 3 pin and slide it into the 4. Got a chance.
So that opening came in the 3rd frame. Here's the man that won the first 2 matches. Mark Williams is back up, and let's take a closer look at his grip.
One of the real versatile players in the release zone. He uses the fingertip grip, ball fingers down the first knuckle, uses grippers in the finger holes, and stays right behind the ball with a cupped wrist. And you couldn't quite see it on that first shot, though, but Mark Williams has a 3-finger hole grip, Chris, and a thumb hole, and he cups the ball so much it's kind of hard to see, but it's usually a controlled type shot.
We mentioned Dark, and there he is. Mark's brother. Okay, Mark Williams suffered through a slump in '92, but '93 is another year for him.
Our last tournament of '92 was in Chicago. I was lucky enough to work with a good friend of mine, Bill Spigner, on a couple of things in my game. I fought for the championship round there and just missed. First tournament in '93, I'm in the championship round, looking forward to winning for the first time in 5 years.
Looks sharp, and that's the new grip, though, Chris. 4 fingers in the ball, thumb and 3 fingers. He's got it under control.
Good evening. All right, we're in our semi-final game. Mark Williams is in a 27-pin lead over Tony Westlake. More after this.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me.
Bud Light? Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
We've had Old Blaze for 16 years. I mean, this Old Blaze. My husband uses it for all of his hunting and fishing trips. He and the dog absolutely love that car. Someday, when even AC Delco parts can't keep it going, we'll just park it out back so he and the dog can sit in it and reminisce.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
An unprecedented field of Olympic medalists compete as pros in pairs and ice dancing. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenge of Champions next on ABC.
Great skating later, there's great bowling right now. In with 10 strikes in his last victory, Tony Westlake, having his problems here now against Mark Williams. Open frame, now shooting in the fourth. Okay. Let's go to Mark Baker.
Ron, you averaged 237 all week, an unbelievable average. How are you going to play the lanes today?
Mark, they're a little bit different today, but there's still a good shot out there, and if I can shoot 237 and somebody can beat it, more power to them.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And Ron. Tony won at that double.
What I think our tournament leader, Ron Williams, alluded to is the PBA oiled the lanes approximately 45 feet all week long. That's about 4 feet farther than we saw any time last year. And, Chris, that usually keeps the ball from not hooking very sharply. However, today it looks like the lanes are hooking a little bit more, so the shot calls for a little bit more speed or a little bit more hook. Right now, Westlake struggling.
Okay. Well, all our race car people that we usually have here are out of town for some reason. My pal Carol Shelby's in Detroit. Parnelli's busy.
Look at this grip of Mark Williams, and he's got a weight hole on the side now. You're only allowed one hole not used for gripping purposes. He actually has 5 holes in that ball, and he must keep all 4 fingers in it to be legal. In other words, Chris, if he would happen to take either one of his thumb or 3 fingers that he has in the ball out of the ball with that extra weight hole he has in the side of it, it's an illegal shot. So he must use all 4 fingers, and he's using that for control. Now, Williams playing the biggest hook of all the players as you get a good view of his grip. Stands to the extreme left. He'll walk towards the center, and he'll be around the 3rd arrow. So you're going to see a shot pretty much like this.
Color coordinated. That shirt and trim on the ball. All right. So is this young man, Tony Westlake. Semifinal match. He's trailing by 47. So tomorrow on ABC Sports, the PGA and Seniors Tour, the finest in both, tee it up in Southern California. Winners of 92 compete for the first victory in 93. Final round of the Xfinity Tournament of Champions. Live at 3 Eastern, 2 Central and Pacific on ABC Sports.
Imperative for Tony Westlake to strike here, 7th frame.
Shot 212 in his first victory, 241 in his last. Tony Westlake and Mark Williams will be back.
You're about to see the power of subliminal advertising. Now, you name bowling's hookingest and bashingest new ball, it's the new Rhino Pro. 100% urethane in a conventional 2-piece design. Only at your local pro shop.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime. For relief without alcohol, hit the box, not the bottle.
Bowling's best are ready to strike. They storm into the Arizona desert to battle at the Phoenix Open next Saturday on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
You're looking at Frank Gaughan, Assistant Director of Advertising, AC Delco, and they have raised a total purse this year, 7th year here, to $200,000, $42,000 going to the winner. So Frank and his associates, Brent Snelson, Dave Robinson. All right.
Mark Williams with the light 10, but you see the head pin almost coming back to the extreme left side of the approach. The big hook being played by Williams right here. Head pin to the left sideboard. The scout is the vernacular that the PBA players use. Does not quite take out the 10. Right now he has a 36-pin lead over Tony Westlake if he converts in the 7. And what good technique he uses on spares. Mark Williams has as good a hand action as anybody on the tour. He can play that big hook ball with the cupped wrist on the first shot. He flattens his wrist out for spare shots, as you saw towards the 10-pin. And he even incorporates a backup ball or a little fade shot for certain spare shots. So his hand action's impeccable. The only thing he fights in his game is his arm swing. When he has it all going, he's as tough as they come.
Two-time Firestone winner. That in itself is a major league feat to win it twice. But not with shots like that.
The danger of the soft speed with today's high reacting bowling balls. He sends the ball a little wide. The speed's around 16 miles an hour and sharp cut through the middle. Leaves the 4, 6, 7, 9. He'll shoot towards the 6-pin, try to have the 6 careen off the 9 and into the 4, 7. Not going that way. Boy, does he open the door for Tony Westlake, who has lived 1,000 lives here so far today, Chris.
Yeah, the lead is down to 20 pins now, and we're looking at a double for Westlake up as he shoots in the 8th.
Tony Westlake, who doesn't have a 4-fingered grip, has the full grip, has his hand behind the ball, lifts the ball well out on the lane. Oh! Well, reciprocity in our sport. Remember the great break he got in the 9th frame against Ferraro. He doesn't win that match, and here he gets a solid 8-pin here where he could have gotten right back in contention.
Could have cut the lead to 10.
Westlake continually looking at the scoreboard. When he struck in the 7th frame on lane 13, the left-hand lane, he had figured out what he needs to do, and he knew he could strike out at that point. So right now he has to not stay unperturbed by that tough break there in the 8th and set up the foundation frame here in the 9th. It's not over.
Four-pin.
Westlake knows he didn't make the shot he wanted right there. In the 7th frame, he sent the ball very wide. As you see, his position slightly left of center, just right over the 3rd arrow. In the 7th frame, when he hit solid in the pocket, he went out to about the 7th board, gave it a big hook. That time, he just went out to around the 2nd arrow, and it wasn't enough to get the right reaction.
Last year, Mark's year was pretty bleak, earning on the tour $28,875. Second in Rookie of the Year voting is brother Derek last year.
Jason Couch, a powerful left-hander from Florida, is the PBA Rookie of the Year. Now Mark Williams can close the door with a mark here in the 10th frame. If he opens, Westlake's got a chance. Needs this spare to lock up the match, and kind of a little lesson to go along with it. Watch his technique. He uses the same ball, which I have always been a proponent of, Chris, because the ball feels good. You know what the thumb and finger holes are going to feel like, and he's going to flatten that shot out, and it's going to go straight as a rope. With the conversion, he goes on to meet Ron Williams for the tournament championship.
All right. Mark's best finish last year was 5th in the Choice Hotels Summer Classic in Edmond, Oklahoma.
There were 5 Williamsons, as you may say, in this tournament, and 4 of them made the top 24. You got Derek Williams, Walter Ray Williams, and the 2 men that are going to vie for the championship, Ron Williams and Mark Williams. So Mark finishes with 212.
Coming up next on ABC Sports, Olympic medalist Kitty and Peter Carruthers join the world's top skaters on the ice for a dramatic pairs and dance competition. The Durasoft Colors World Challenge of Champions. That's next. ABC Sports.
Westlake with the 245. He'll be in the 180s.
2 victories. That'll earn Westlake $13,000 for his work this week and today.
Nice prize fund, AC Delco, Chris.
It is. 42 in the next game. 22 to the runner-up.
Well, that's almost good enough for you to put your shoes on for, 42,000.
If I had your skill, I might. In fact, I know I would if I had your skill.
Well, thank you, but that's debatable.
Okay, ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Good old granola has always been great for taste. Problem is, it's loaded with fat. For today's granola eater, there's Kellogg's low-fat granola. Just half the fat of other leading brands, but better still, wait till you taste it. Whole grains, sweet raisins, and almonds all blend together for one bountiful breakfast taste. Today's granola eater. Today's granola. Kellogg's low-fat granola. Great taste, half the fat.
Guess what motor oil gives you unbeatable wear protection? Give them a clue, Bert. Quaker State. What motor oil is unsurpassed in preventing sludge buildup? Quaker State. Now, guess what motor oil Bert uses? Quaker State is one tough motor oil. Good guess.
Some people get nasal congestion, but if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
Monday, Nicolas Cage, Tommy Lee Jones, and Sean Young. Somebody is going to die. Take on the world's most dangerous drug lords. A network television premiere, Firebirds, Monday.
This week, America's New Country video lineup includes songs by Chris Ledoux, Dwight Yoakam, Libby Hurley, and Alan Jackson, as well as AMC debut videos from Vince Gill and Ricky Van Shelton. And we'll go backcountry with Aaron Tippin, the Bellamy Brothers, plus Travis Tritt and Marty Stewart on their No Hats tour.
America's New Country, tonight at 7 on WHTM. You're about to see the power of subliminal advertising. Now, can you name bowling's hookingest and bashingest new ball? It's the new Rhino Pro. 100% urethane in a conventional 2-piece design. Catch the Rhino Pro at one of these official Rhino Pro shops.
How to get by on little or no money. Next on Hugh.
Here's the way our AC Delco Classic has gone thus far here in Torrance, California. Westlake defeating Orlikowski 212-203 in the first match. Westlake prevailed against Dave Ferraro, the Player of the Year, 241-228. Mark Williams then stepped in and again defeated Westlake, as he had done in the Firestone a few years ago, 212-187. As a result, he meets a non-relative named Ron Williams from Fort Worth, Texas. Bo and I are in the booth with the PBA Commissioner, Mike Connor. We mentioned at the top of the show that next week we were going to have a King of the Hill edition. In other words, today's winner will be important next week. And Mike Connor, tell us about our King of the Hill edition.
Well, Chris, today's AC Delco Classic champion will become the first King of the Hill challenger.
the Hill Bowl next week's winner of the Phoenix Open in a one-game winner-take-all match for $5,000. The winning king advances each week to challenge the next tournament winner, and the king who keeps winning could earn $75,000 on the winter tour, plus an opportunity with bonus to double that earnings. So we think it's a very exciting format. Had a lot of response from our players and the fans. I think it's going to add a lot of excitement to Pro Bowl Tour.
This is our last week for 5 finalists. We have 4 finalists next week, and the winner, though, today will be in our King of the Hill format.
Right. We're looking forward to it.
Bo's rubbing his hands. I know he wishes
Well, I think
he were
it's
out
great,
there.
Chris. For the fans that have been around for a long time, we only had 4 bowlers in the championship round
Yes.
back in the mid-'60s. Mike Connors, I think it's a great move by you and your staff and the players. 4 players in the championship round. The winner goes on to meet the King of the Hill challenger. Sensational. Gives us a really double kick, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's see which Williams boy it will be. It will either be Ron or Mark. Because the championship match will start right now. 42,000 to the winner, 22 to the runner-up. Thank you, Mike.
All right, Mark Williams will start the match. Ron Williams, the tournament leader, has the option of whether to start or finish the match. He feels like he can perform in the clutch, so he will finish first in the match.
A 7-pin from the left lane for 34-year-old Mark Williams.
2 players that have really, really worked on their games over the years, especially the last decade. Both these players struggled with their arm swings, always had good timing, good footwork, but did not have that ideal outside arm swing that we like to see, and they have made it work. Boy, Mark Williams saved by his spare shooting technique there. That straight shot, take a lesson from that, everybody. That ball hooks in the left-hand gutter if he doesn't throw it straight. So good technique, saved him in the first frame from an open. Now here's our tournament leader, who averaged .251 yesterday, Ron Williams.
His 12th television appearance, 2-time champion. And loops it into the pocket.
All right, you see the style of Ron Williams from the back. You see the push away going out to the side. What a tough way to take the ball away. Now look at this. Chris, I would say he could never learn to bowl this way. Now watch him wrap it back in, get it right next to that left leg, and then he has a style very similar to Dave Ferraro. Just snaps that 10 up. Right now he'd like to get off to an early lead, second frame.
And he does just that, having won the 1990 AC Delco Classic. Right here, Ron Williams, who was 31 years old on Thursday. Now Mark Williams, who won that semifinal match. Spare up, second frame.
Two things that these champions both have in common and very important for our fans at home who kind of like to copy a pro's style is the follow-through. Watch how the follow-through goes directly to the target. For Mark Williams, the target's around the third arrow with a good swing. Watch how his hand and arm go directly towards that target. Excellent.
Leaving only the 7-pin, but more important, avoiding the split.
2 7-pins on the left-hand lane. You're right, Chris. He has the 4 7-10 standing momentarily. The 3-pin gets between the 6 and 10, rolls over and takes out the 4. He has the same spare he had in the first frame.
Now back up Ron Williams of Fort Worth, originally from East St. Louis. And he's a man that's had to wait quite a while off to the right. But he opened with a double here in the final game. And a 7-pin. And here's Bonnie, who got the trip to California after sending Ron balloons into the paddock area on his birthday on Thursday, so he advanced to the tournament leadership and gets a trip to California, Bo.
Not a bad idea, and her husband can win $42,000 with a victory in this match.
As we said, he formally won the AC Delco Championship. He outlines why he does so well in early tournaments.
Well, I think, Bo, after you've had a long break like that, you come back, you're pretty fresh. You know, you've worked on your game for a couple of months. You've had time to change a few things here and there. And, you know, I've always bowled good here at the Gable House. I bowled here like 10 straight years, and I've cashed in like 9 out of 10 tournaments, and I've won one. And today I'm the tournament leader, and hopefully I can win it again this year.
All right. Fourth frame. Back striking. Britton. This is the final game of the AC Delco Classic, where the winner will become the King of the Hill Challenger next week. Back to find out after this.
6 months ago, my dentist says to me, Mike, you got a tartar problem. Get Tartar Control Crest. But doctor, I said, I thought toothpaste is toothpaste. He sticks that pick in my mouth. He says, think again.
You'll have significantly less tartar at your next visit if you use Crest's unique tartar fighting formula for 6 months. We're so sure, we'll give you a money-back guarantee.
So I started using Crest every day. And you were looking at a happy guy. A very happy guy.
Tartar Control Crest. Less tartar in 6 months guaranteed.
Hey, Willard Scott here, talking with the good folks who shop at True Value. The question, is it the personal service or the low prices?
Large selection, low prices, good quality merchandise that they do carry.
You go in the big chain stores and you try to find somebody to answer a question for you.
The value is good, the selection is great.
For personal service and low prices, bring your family to ours, the True Value family of stores.
Yes, it's definitely a personal touch here.
Mickey Cogan, general manager of the Gable House, owned by his family, his father Jack, and is the brother of Kevin Cogan, IndyCar racer. Mickey raced go-karts when he was a youngster, but never pursued it. Kevin in here today is celebrating the birthday with Vince Granatelli in Phoenix. He's going to be back in Indy, he hopes, next year.
Mark with his third 7-pin in 4 frames in the championship match. A little different type of 7-pin. The first 2, he was high on the left-hand lane. That time the ball kind of what we said rolls out. Mark Williams, who doesn't use much ball speed, I'd say in the 16 to 17 mile-an-hour range, had that ball just kind of quit on him. Obviously he knows how to make this. He's within 10 pins. Oh. But only on the left-hand lane. He doesn't know how to make it on the right. Ooh.
Ooh, that's a lot of money shot.
You bet. Well, this shot is just a shot in the arm for Ron Williams, who's sitting on the bench watching a terrific player miss a single pin, the 7-pin. Let's see if Mark Williams is perturbed by that shot. He needs to get some strikes. Well, what's happening? You look at a player, he hits the pocket, he has that big hook. And what Mark has to do is do one of 3 things. Throw harder to keep the ball from rolling out, loft the ball a little bit more, as we have seen Ferraro, Westlake, and our tournament leader, Ron Williams, do, or switch to a harder ball that doesn't hook as much. So he has 3 alternatives. Let's see which one he chooses.
Remember, our King of the Hill Challenge begins next week in Phoenix. As the winner of this match, AC Delco Classic, will become the challenger and will bowl the winner of the Phoenix Open.
Now the dots are out here 7 feet. That's an old help that the players used to use before the arrows were put out on lanes 15 feet. Not many of the pros look at the dots because it makes you dumb.
Fort Worth, Ron Williams. 1992 was a big year for Dave Ferraro. This was one category that helped him become the PBA Player of the Year, averaging $219.7. And the top money winner was former president of the PBA, Mark McDowell, $174. And he's the defending champion here, and he finished 16th this week.
Ron Williams in 5th in average last year at 217, and he's in control of this match, can make it a 41-pin lead. Well, the only pin we've seen stand in the match has been the 7-pin. There's been 4 7-pins by Mark Williams. He missed one in the 4th frame. Ron Williams has lost 2 7-pins, one in the 3rd after a double and one in the 6th after a double. With the conversion, a 30-pin lead in favor of Ron Williams.
Ron and his wife Bonnie, who's here, are parents of 2 sons, Scott and Sean.
Going back to the dots are 7 feet out over the lanes, and not many people use those as a guide or a ball target because you have a tendency to dump the ball into the lane when you don't look far out on the lane. Williams had a good shot there, lofted the ball out over the lane. The dots, for the older folks would remember, were there before the arrows. Way back in the 30s, there were no arrows or dots on lanes to help bowlers. So there's a lot of guys out there to help you. So here the arrows are here. The dots would be right about in this line, not quite showing up in that picture. Right now, Mark Williams could care less about the dots or the arrows. He needs to knock over the pins. He trails by 30 pins, 7th frame.
All right. Ron Williams won his first tournament in 1988 in Columbus, Ohio.
Ron Williams with the full spread of the fingers, tucks that baby finger to a little tighter grip and lifts straight up through the bowling ball. Good shot.
And his last win was right here.
Amazing how these matches, Chris Schenkel, have a tendency to just tighten up. Here looks like a match well in hand by Ron Williams. In a matter of 2 frames, Mark Williams climbs right back into contention.
This game, they're bowling for a total of $64,000.
And the $5,000 in the challenge next week, a possibility. The pressure has to be building on both players. You can see it in Williams' face. He knows he's trailing. He must strike. That's Mark. Ron, very confident look. 19-pin lead, 8th frame. Hello, solid 10 in the 7th, solid 8 in the 8th. The match is up for grabs. This is the second solid 8 we've seen today. Orlikowski had one in his match against Westlake. Head pin tips into the 2, touches the 5. The 5 gets chopped straight back off the 8 pin.
Wish we could replay that chorus of O's. Loudest I've ever heard. Okay. Continuing to mark, Ron Williams. Double up for Mark Williams.
Boy, he'd love to have that one. The head pin goes to the sideboard and doesn't quite come back around to get the 10 out. He looks up at the scoreboard. He says, frames are starting to run out on me. Now, with a little more ball speed, Mark Williams carries this shot. He gets a little more speed on that head pin. It may bounce off the sideboard, take out the 10. However, he's still in the match. He will trail by 19. Make it a few more. I think he hit his ankle, Chris.
Yes.
Here you go. Watch it. Watch his footwork. The ball hits right off his left ankle. You see him never even finish the shot. Unfortunate. Misses the 7 pin in the 4th frame. And here in the 8th, watch his left leg. It kind of slides underneath the shot. You can hardly tell it, but it hits right off the left side of his ankle. That not only hurts, but it hurts his pocketbook because now he's in real trouble. He must strike here.
Proud champion.
Well, the importance of the AC Delco Classic the last 2 years has been the champion of this tournament has gone on to be not only the champion of the AC Delco Classic, has gone on to be the Firestone winner, has gone on to be the Rochester winner, and has gone on to be the #1 money winner in bowling. Both Ozio and McDowell have followed that after winning the AC Delco. 2 marks to win. Ron Williams shuts out Mark Williams with a spare here in the 9th and any kind of mark in the 10th.
Keeping up his pattern, Ron Williams winning his first in 1988, then in 1990 right here. Here we go, the first tournament of 93. You could say this is a looping victory, huh? Coming up.
You bet. A little looping in that swing, but he's kept every ball in play. The key to good match play victory is filling the frames. And look at Williams' match. Double, 7-pin, double, 7-pin, solid 10, solid 8, solid 10. Right now he's come down to where any spare makes him the 1993 AC Delco champion, $42,000 in the bank, and the King of the Hill for next week. Boy, he stayed with the shot. Needs 1 pin, 2 balls. I think he'll get that. 2-time champion, the AC Delco Classic, right there.
Look at that. Cool as can be is Bonnie Williams, Ron's wife. First King of the Hill challenger to meet next week's winner of the Phoenix Open, and there you go. Mom and Dad, Bonnie and Ron Williams, $42,000 richer, with a chance for more next week. We'll be back, Torrance, California.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
How's it going this trip, Todd?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty is a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
Ninjas do 2 things very well. They react. And they attack. Nothing blows them away like a ninja. The AMF Ninja, available today.
Sports all the time, when you need it. Updated every 10 minutes. Call the ABC Sports line at 1-900-420-4ABC. For just 75 cents a minute, you'll hear the late-breaking scores, news, and events. Call the ABC Sports line and stay on top of sports 24 hours a day. That's 1-900-420-4ABC. For only 75 cents a minute, you'll have a direct line to the wide world of sports when you call the ABC Sports line.
225 to 193. And for Ron Williams, $42,000. Mark Williams, 22. Westlake, Ferraro, and Orlikowski. Okay, here's the AC Delco champion and the first ever ABC Professional Bowlers Tour King of the Hill. Ron?
It feels great, Chris. Actually, I kind of forgot all about the King of the Hill. Once I was into the match, I just wanted to win so bad, and then I just... glad to be here.
You love Gable House.
I love Gable House, yeah. Won here in 1990, and I've always bowled good here. I've never had really a bad tournament at Gable House, and I hope we come back here forever.
Bonnie, I'd say this pretty nice Thursday birthday present.
You better believe it. Ron always seems to do well around birthdays. His birthday, my birthday, you know. We should have more birthdays.
You get older that way.
You can say that. You're young. I don't agree. Frank Gahn is here, the Associate Manager of Advertising, AC Delco. So I think we ought to make this lovely couple feel a little more secure.
Yes, sir. And on behalf of AC Delco, I'd like to present this winner's check for $42,000 to yourself and your wife. And also, I'd like to congratulate you on being AC Delco's representative as King of the Hill.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Frank, we really appreciate the great support, AC Delco. It's been good for both of us.
Yes, this has been one of AC Delco's greatest programs. And we owe a lot of support and a lot of thanks to the fans and our participants and the level of competition we have that attracts them week after week.
And my friend off to your right, here he is, Mickey Cogan, the great Jack Cogan family, and we always enjoy coming here. You have a presentation quickly.
That's right. I'd like to give Ron the other half of his bookend set, the AC Delco Classic Trophy. Congratulations, Ron.
Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate it.
And needless to say, we will see you next week.
Oh, yes. I will definitely be there in Phoenix. I'd like to thank AC Delco and Mickey Cogan for hosting us and everything else. And thanks, City of Torrance. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks to you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Burton and I will see you next week. Goodbye. The executive producer of ABC Sports' presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour is Jack O'Hara. Produced by Carol Letty. Directed by Larry Cam. Technical Director, Michael Carmen. Associate Director, Vince Daddario and Russell Brooks. Technical Operations Manager, Les Weiss. Production Manager, Arthur Budegian. Assistant to the Producer, Steve Shunk. Stage Manager, Tom Gatewood.
The Professional Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. By AMF Bowling, AMF, an official sponsor of the PBA Tour. And by Tartar Control Crest, the dentist choice to help keep your teeth tartar-free. Coming up next on ABC Sports, the world's top skaters take the ice for dramatic pairs and dance competition. It's the Durasoft Colors World Challenge of Champions next. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
A promotional fee